Welcome to the very first episode of Joe versus the Bots. My name is Joe, and for today's very first pilot episode, all I really want to do is just introduce the channel, talk a little bit about myself, talk a little bit about why I'm doing this, and explain what in the heck is going on. So sit back, relax, and let's get started. So, my name is Joe. I'm based in South Florida, sunny South Florida, although today it is a little chilly outside for us in the 60s/50s at night. Don't laugh, rest of the world. For us, that's a pretty big deal. So we're enjoying it. We're loving it. We're going to go outside, open some windows, open some doors here, get some fresh air. I like to play online microstakes on Ignition Casino, and we're going to talk as the show progresses about a variety of topics in the poker world, but online microstakes, online, and we'll mix in one or two live in-person poker tournaments across South Florida at some different locations. In fact, later this week on Friday, I will be at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in beautiful Hollywood, Florida, playing in an event in the Lucky Hearts Poker Open. So I'll hope to get some footage of that, share it with you all, and hopefully we run really deep and have a good episode out of it. So going to start with a few slides here. You know, it's funny. Maybe there's something in the air. Maybe someone's telling me something. But as I am getting used to the software and as I'm getting used to just creating a vlog, because this is the very first time I've ever done anything like this in my entire life, I have aces. My opponent has kings. We get it all in a 6-bet pre-flop pot, and I of course take it down for a nice 20,000 chip pot at this particular tournament, just as I have this on the background as I'm learning how to do the vlog. So maybe that's a good sign. And this is some of the stuff that you're going to capture. And then here in the $3 mystery bounty tournament, don't worry if you don't know what that means. We're going to explain it all. I have pocket jacks. Not sure if you can see it on the top left of my screen. We'll make sure that the images and the quality of the video improves over time. Just to some examples of some of the content you're going to see here on this channel. Under the gun. Blinds are 5,000, 10,000. I have about 330,000. I have pocket jacks under the gun, a great starting hand in no limit Texas Hold'em. So I go ahead and raise it up to 20,000, folds all the way back around to the big blind who has about 500,000. He raises it. He raises it to about 69,000 chips. For some reason, I just don't like the raise size. I just don't like the bet. I just don't like the situation that I found myself in. They say there's no right way to play pocket jacks. Why fold it? My opponent he shows pocket queens, an amazing fold just to start right off. Again, as I'm just editing, as I'm just figuring out the software that I'm using and figuring out how I even want to do this show. So pretty wild. Aces versus kings, that held. And then jacks where I fold. Pocket queens is shown. Feels great to fold, to make a great fold like that. So yeah, maybe that's a good sign for starting out this vlog. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually fire up as we speak here, Ignition Casino. There it is. I'm signed in. I'm going to find just something to play here just as we're talking and just as the show is going on, just so you can get a feel for how this is going to go over the next, few episodes. My goal is to obviously grow this channel. So let me know in the comments. Let me know what you want to see. Do you want me to play more online tournaments? Do you want me to play more live tournaments? Do you want me to play Omaha or Omaha High-Low or No Limit Hold'em? You want me to play cash games or tournaments or jackpot sit and goes or satellites, which we're going to do on this channel? Just let me know what you want to see, and I'll see if we can make that happen. But for now, let's fire something up here and let's just get this going, and I can talk about, as this tournament is going, why I'm doing this channel, and like I mentioned at the intro, some of the risks associated with it. I think this 1,000 guaranteed monster stack for $5 is a perfect way to kick things off. We're going to late registration or late reg this tournament literally right now, because blind level 16 is the last level for registration. We're going to have 1,600 big blind starting with 15,000 chips. So less than 10 big blinds, about 9 big blinds. We're just going to fire this up. 66 players remaining, 35 pay. I think it's a good opportunity to just get in here and just get some poker under our belt. So as this is loading and as Ignition casino is loading its software here so we can get started. There we are. We're sitting. We're entry number 170. I want to talk a little bit about the risks associated with doing a show like this. My wife and I were talking about this before we got started, and yeah, I'm taking a pretty sizable risk by putting myself out there on YouTube, out there on the internet, talking about poker. Um, for some background, I work and have worked over the last 20 years in corporate America for agencies and large and mid-sized corporations. Even the thought or even the mention of a casino or the game of poker or anything having to do with, I'll just throw the word out there, gambling, has a negative connotation in the world of work. People do not want to talk about it. They associate it with bad things or bad people or even the devil. For example, I had a vice president that I reported to, and he flat out said, I will never go to Las Vegas. I will never go to anywhere with a casino. That is the devil. I do not do that. So there's a large percentage of people who do not even want to talk about, don't even want to entertain the idea of poker. Don't you dare, if you are in corporate America and working, even bring this up to some folks, because they will automatically put you in a category of you are a degenerate, you are somehow below human or a lesser person, and that could be career limiting or even career suicide. And that's if you work at a company. What if you're trying to find a job? What if you're out there putting applications in, trying to get interviews? Your recruiter from HR that you're reaching out to or trying to schedule an interview with, or the hiring manager that might interview you, they're going to look you up online. They're going to look up your social media profiles. They're going to do some searches on you. There's software that does this, or they can even do it manually. And if you have an online presence out there, whether it's posts on Facebook or Instagram or whatever social platform, or if you have YouTube videos like this one and you are putting yourself out there, that could very well work against you. So all this is to say that there's a risk involved in putting yourself out there and talking about poker. So I give a lot of credit to all of the YouTubers who have come before me that have put content out there. They have put their names, their face, their likeness out there into the world. They have essentially gone all in on them being associated with poker, which will automatically mean that a specific or certain percentage of the population will bucket that person into a category. As unfair as that is, and I agree that is not fair, but that's just how the world works. That is just how some people feel, and that's okay. They're entitled to those opinions. They're entitled to feel that way. I, of course, have a bias. I like poker. I love playing poker. It's a part of who I am, and it's something that I'm pretty passionate about. So I'm taking a risk by putting myself out there. So we're going to see how this channel goes. Hopefully it'll go well. Hopefully I won't have to deal with any of those unforeseen down the road circumstances. But for now, we're just going to enjoy it, and we're going to just put some content out there and see what happens. So here we are. I have not played a hand yet as we're doing all of this rambling about the consequences or the risks of putting yourself out there and playing poker. But we're finally going to get a hand dealt in here. Now I have, in this particular situation, less than 10 big blinds, and I pick up pocket deuces. So we might just have to stick it in there. So this show format and this show as a entity, what is it going to be? What is it going to be all about? What are we going to talk about? What am I going to do? Well, as you can see, part of it is going to be talking about a specific topic. So I think every show, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a topic in poker, or maybe not in poker. Maybe it's some other topic in another part of life that I'm going to bring up on the show, talk about, discuss it, see what you all think in the chat or in the comments, and I'll do my best to reply to everybody. So we're going to pick a topic. We'll have a game loaded up as we do this. So, for example, I now have to decide whether or not I want to put my 9 big blinds in here after an under the gun raise for less. And I think I will. I'm just going to use some of my time bank as I'm talking, so that I can think about it just for a second, but I think I'm going to do it. We have pocket deuces. We have 9 big blinds. So that's what the show is going to look like. We're going to have a topic. Every once in a while, we're going to have to play a hand, and we'll talk about that hand and my thinking about my decisions, what I want to do, what I don't want to do. And for this situation here, let's just go ahead and get it all in. Let's just see what happens. I have a pair, 9 big blinds, maximum late registration of this tournament. It's a perfect opportunity to just get your money in there and hopefully double up. In this case, if everybody else folds, we will not be out of this tournament. We will still have about 6,000, 5,500 chips, something like that, because the person that has gone all in obviously has 8,700. We have 14,800. Player number 96 now is thinking about his decision. He might just stick it in as well. Poker is a very interesting game, as some of you might already know if you play, and if you've never played before, it is one of the most interesting, complex, dynamic things that you can take on. It was once said that poker takes a minute to learn and a lifetime to master, and that is absolutely true. It takes very little time to learn, but to master all of the intricacies, to really get fundamentals, to get experience under your belt, to really know different situations and spots and what you should do or shouldn't do, that does take a lifetime to master and to be really, really proficient at it. We're also going to talk about, if this player ever makes a decision, so we can hurry up and get some hands in here, we're also going to talk about the type of stakes that I play. I mentioned microstakes. I should also mention that I play live low stakes tournaments. Tournaments are my favorite type of game to play in the world of poker. No limit hold'em being, of course, my specialty, but I also like to play pot limit Omaha, and also Omaha high low. I love Omaha high low. So hopefully we can do some of that here on this channel for you all. I am not a high roller. I do not have thousands of dollars to go and play in poker tournaments and to travel to poker tournaments and to rebuy multiple times. I'm a working guy. I have a family. I have 2 kids. I have a family to support. I have bills to pay. We're definitely not in a position to be playing high stakes poker. King Jack, they both had the same hands. The chip leader called as well. I had pocket deuces. I not only double up, I triple up. I now have 41,000. Perfect situation. I now have 25 big blinds. Perfect. That worked out perfectly for me. And maybe we'll win this tournament. Who knows? That would be great, right? On the stream or on the first episode. So yeah, definitely do not have the budget or the time, really. I mean, if you think about, let's just talk about the World Series of Poker main event. So the World Series of Poker main event is a $10,000 buy-in tournament in the middle of July or in the middle of the summer. $10,000 plus airfare to get there, plus hotel, plus meals, plus incidentals. You're already looking at between $13,000, maybe $14,000 total just to go play in one poker tournament. And I would love to do it. Believe me, believe you me, I would love nothing more than to play in a tournament like the main event of the World Series of Poker. But right now, that's just not feasible. So we'll stick to the $2, $3, $5 online tournaments, as well as the low tournament buy-ins live. $150, $200, $250, maybe even $300, maybe even a $400 tournament. But that's my ceiling at present. Maybe one day I'll get there. Maybe one day I'll be able to play in a $3,500 main event of the Lucky Hearts Poker Open or the $10,000 main event buy-in at the World Series of Poker. Maybe one day that will be me. But today, that is not me. So we'll stick to what we can afford and what we can do based on our bankroll and based on our life situation. And honestly, I don't think there's nothing wrong with it at all. Everybody's got to start somewhere. Not everybody can afford that type of tournament. We got some good action over here, by the way. Eights versus ace-10 versus king-queen. Nobody has a club. Eights are going to take it down and double eliminate 2 bots, 2 players. Speaking of bots, this channel is called Joe versus the Bots for a reason. Ignition Casino or Ignition Poker, ACR, GG Poker, party poker from back in the day, you name it, as we go on break here, all have been accused of having bots or automated software as in lieu of or as playing against human players. This has been a thing. This has been an issue in the online poker world since I can remember, since my very first deposit, very first play over on Party Poker. This is back in 2004. So for 20 years plus, as far as I can tell, there have been accusations, issues with bots. Are people cheating online? Are they using real-time assistance, which is graphs and charts and stuff that you should not be able to do while you are playing? All accusations that have been out there for many, 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 many years. And who knows is the answer. I mean, probably there are bots out there. Probably some nefarious stuff is going on. But we're here. We're determined. We're going to take them down anyways. Just like Kasparov versus the IBM Deep Blue supercomputer. We don't care if it's a human opponent or an automated bot. We're going to do our best to try to beat all opponents. So one thing that I think I'm going to do whenever I have an elimination, which I did with the pocket deuces, I believe I'll have to go back and look at it. We'll keep a track, or we'll keep count of how many bots we eradicate, we eliminate, because we got to get rid of these bots. And we're going to do our best to get them all out of here, one buy-in, one bullet at a time. So while we are here on the tournament break, which Ignition does a really good job of syncing all of their tournaments, so everybody breaks at the same time, we'll do some sponsor / shoutouts. So today we'll just do StreamYard as our sponsor that we are going to highlight. That is how I am streaming. I have learned how to use StreamYard over the past 4 or 5 days since the new year. And it has been an experience. I have never, like I mentioned before, never have done anything like this. This is brand new for me, and I'm just trying to do something different. Just put some content out there and do something different. And it's been a very interesting process to learn just how to get a stream up and running, just how to get a recording done, just how to share your screen and how to get an audio track in and how to get some music playing and how to upload it to YouTube and create a channel. All new learnings for me. So if this channel falls flat on its face and fails miserably, at least I can say, hey, at least I know how to upload a YouTube video now. So there is there's the silver lining there. So thank you to StreamYard.com. Great for streaming, especially if you're someone like me who has a Google Chromebook. Google Chromebook is not Windows, and it's not Mac or an OS. It is not a Mac operating system or a Windows operating system. It is its own operating system. So one of the things that I did learn as this tournament's about to get started here in 40 seconds, Google Chromebook does not have a lot of hardware and tools out there. Especially me, because I have a Chromebook, Acer Chromebook 311, which is one of the cheapest Chromebooks you can get. So StreamYard.com has been great for me to just not have to purchase some hardware or learn complicated software or have to get a subscription. I can just go on there and very, very easily. I mean, heck, if I could do it, I think anybody else can do it. So once again, StreamYard.com. Thank you very much for getting this channel started here. And now that you know what the channel's about and what we're going to do, let's focus on the poker. Let's play some hands here for our pilot episode. We're going to switch tables. Now on table 20, we're entrant number 170. Oh, look at that. The ace of spades for dealing the button. The best card in the deck. That is a great sign. Blinds are 8 and 1,600, and we have exactly 41,000. So roughly 25, 30 big blinds. I'm not sure if I'm going to play this hand or not, but we'll see. Just so everybody is aware, I am not going to be very splashy. I am not going to be very loose with my chips. I tend to play pretty conservatively, pretty tightly, but also very aggressively when I do have a good hand. And I'll throw in some other tricks along the way. Look at this. This guy flopped a set against ace 10, and he's going to go ahead and double up. Good for him. Right now, we are 29th of 84, 44 get paid. And so during this stream, what I can do is I can go to the lobby back and forth. So let's do that so we can get some stats. I like to flip back and forth, and we'll definitely dedicate an episode or two about the tournament clock and tournament structure sheets. But here the tournament is running, has been running for 3.5 hours. Reentry period is over, so now it is a freeze out from this point forward. There are 89 players left, 44 get paid. So it definitely will behoove me and you as a player as well to pick your spots to be aggressive. You can pick up a lot of chips, but also folding. The equity of folding or the value of folding starts to get higher and higher as you get closer and closer to the money. And especially as you're deep in the money, every fold could mean hundreds, if not thousands of dollars of difference. Maybe one day we will be able to stream one of those or have one of those live events where you can showcase some of that. Ace queen versus king queen. They're going to chop it up because they both have a straight. You can see it on the right-hand side, the end result of the hand. Both players having Broadway there. Blinds are now up 1 and 2. If you're not used to seeing online poker, blinds go up very, very quickly. An 8-minute or 10-minute blind level is typically quite a bit for online poker. I tend to see here on Ignition that the blind levels are between 8 minutes and 12 minutes long. And you can check that out here in the tournament lobby. So let's take a quick look before we get into some payouts. The betting structure. So every level is 12 minutes. We are currently at the 1,000, 2,000 level with a 200 ante. That is level 17. And blinds, of course, exponentially increase or gradually increase. They gradually increase every 12 minutes. 12-minute levels in live poker will seem like a hyper turbo. Online poker, it's actually a really good amount of time per level, 10 to 12 minutes. That's almost a perfect amount of time when you're playing online. You want to play quicker online. You don't want to be at your screen and at your desk and at your computer for hours and hours and hours and hours. 12 minutes, 10 minutes, perfect length of level, in my opinion, for low stakes, micro stakes, poker tournaments on Ignition. So yeah, this is how this channel is kind of going to go. I would love to hear what you want to see. If you want to see just tell me in the comments. I want to know. I want to know what you're interested in seeing, what I could do to showcase live or online low stakes poker. What are some of the topics that you want to hear about? What are some of the questions that you might have that you might not find the answers to while you're online, or while you're trying to figure out if you want to play a poker tournament or a cash game? Maybe this channel can help out with that. So with all of that being said, I think it might be time to shut it down. But let's take a look at one quick hand. Maybe we'll do a couple of hands and then we'll wrap it up here for the very first episode. I think I just mentioned maybe 5 minutes ago, I tend to play on the more conservative side. I am not a super aggressive, maniacal type of player. However, with that being said, there are times when you want to stick all of your chips in the middle and really be aggressive and come over the top of your opponents. Hopefully we'll have some of those scenarios play out in front of us here. The other thing I want to mention is that in tournament poker specifically, as we see a run out where this guy flops almost a royal flush, he's going to more than triple up here and eliminate a player. Tournament poker is all about just being patient. If you are in a good frame of mind, which I try to be when I start to play a tournament, especially in the live arena, as I'm going to raise this here to 4,000 with a nice suited ace. Tournament poker is so much about just staying patient and just keeping your cool. So many players, live and online, blow themselves up, make unforced errors. They essentially eliminate themselves from the tournament is how I like to think of it. So if you are just someone who is paying attention, you're not watching the game, you're not on your phone, you're not like doing whatever and talking to your friends. If you're just paying attention to the game as it's playing out, and if you just kind of keep your cool and if you can keep an awareness of what your strategy is coming into the tournament and being able to execute on that, you're going to do just fine, especially in some of the tournaments that you will see streamed here and hopefully some of the reviews that I'll do when I'm playing live. Oh man, if you just stick to the basics and just stick to strategy, and we can talk about that, and we'll definitely delve into more of those topics as we get more episodes under our belt. Man, you are going to run deep in these tournaments because players just cannot help themselves. They have to get their chips into the middle as fast as humanly possible. Sometimes it feels like. And you will just see things that are just like, what in the world are you thinking? How do you even know how to play poker if that's the type of decision making that you're doing? So just keeping your cool, just making good, sound, quality decisions pre-flop and post-flop, and not being intimidated by other players. If you could just do those 3 or 4 things, you will have a very good chance of having great results at the poker table, be online or live. Um, you can just watch poker and you'll see that play out. For example, this hand, I have no idea what these two guys are going to show. Player number 198 just called off a decent percentage of his stack with less than now 10 big blinds. For what reason, I have no idea. I'm going to fold this hand under the gun. But yeah, that is the one shocking thing that I have observed as I've played poker over the last few years, live and online, is that, man, where do these people come up with their decisions? And I'm glad it's not me making them. For context, by the way, I should mention that I have been actually playing poker for about 25 years. First, I started out playing cash games because that's all we had here in South Florida. I would have flopped 2 pair, by the way, here, but you can't be results oriented, so we're not going to try to look at this flop. I played straight to limit poker in Coconut Creek Casino in Coconut Creek, Florida. This is back in 2002, 2003, 2004 time frame, because that's all they really had. There were 10 tables in the second floor room, a very tight smoke-filled room, playing straight to limit hold'em. I believe the minimum buy-in was like $20 or $40 just to have a couple of stacks of, white chips in front of you. 2-4 was where the big boys played, straight 2-4 limit poker, and those were your options back then. So I played a lot of low stakes, no limit hold'em, not no limit hold'em, excuse me, limit poker, and also that's where I played and learned how to play Omaha high low, straight to Omaha high low limit poker. Oh, those were some big fun pots back in the day. And that's how I sort of cut my teeth. I always enjoyed tournaments. Obviously, at that time, in the early 2000s, we had a renaissance of poker, if you will, with the Chris Moneymaker boom, which we can talk about in another episode, how I really started getting into poker at first. But for live poker, I started that. And then, as I mentioned before, online, I would play on Party Poker. And pokerroom.com as well in the mid 2000s, which was a Canadian website. So I played there. I would then play tournaments that were $20, $40 buy-in at Dania Beach and at the old classic Seminole Casino. I would play, I think it was like $100 or $120 buy-in, Saturday, 6 p.m., no limit hold'em, 15 or 10,000 starting unit tournament. And those were back in my days, how I sort of started, playing tournaments. Then the Hard Rock started running their own tournaments, the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. This is before the Guitar Hotel, before there was a poker room. And that's how I started with poker tournaments, playing small buy-in, sit and goes, or $100 or $150 poker tournaments. I like the low stakes. It's low risk. Obviously, as a working person and as a family man, it's hard to be able to say, hey, honey, I'm going to go buy into a $1,100 big slick buy-in tournament. It doesn't go over very well, and it's very irresponsible. So like I said, maybe one day we'll get there. But today, we're just going to have to be okay with playing the stakes that we have access and availability and affordability to be able to do. Here we have King Jack suited in the small blind. I called and completed the small blind. It looks like we had a few limpers. Now this guy raises here or bets out 4,000, gets called by someone with less than 400 chips. So I'm just going to get out of the way here because I don't see how I'm going to be good. Maybe I was good with my king, but aces and fives, I think this guy has an ace. I just think that's going to be lights out in game over for this $150 bot. There it is. There's the ace of spades. He's got it. The other player's eliminated. One bot down for player number 61. All right, folks. Well, I think that's going to be it for me for now. Just wanted to thank everybody for watching, and hope to see you again sometime soon. Thanks all. Talk to you soon. Bye.